Okay, commissioners, your meeting is live.
Good morning. Welcome to the December 22nd meeting of the Raleigh County Commission. Please stand and join in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments. Yes.
Morning, Evan McMillan, Public Works. Just a final reminder, the transfer station will be closed on Wednesday at noon and then on Thursday for Christmas Eve and Christmas, and we'll reopen on Friday at 7 a.m. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioner Rich Varga, Raleigh County Clerk. Just asked to add one small brief item to the end of the business meeting regarding President Trump's proclamation of Christmas Eve and the Friday after Christmas as a federal holiday for our policy. So we can add that discussion. That's Elizabeth is not here. That's why I'm up here asking, and Michelle will do the presentation, not myself.
So moved. Yeah. Second. Moved and seconded. On the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Comments.
Okay, well, I didn't actually have much going on over the weekend. Honestly, I was a little bit more towards the end of last week, so I just kind of stayed at home and rested a little bit, recharging the batteries, which felt pretty good this morning. So I did, however, attend the K-State South Dakota game on Saturday. It's kind of a rare 11 a.m. start, but I don't know. I guess with the students gone and everything, it was pretty decent crowd, but Wildcats. Yeah, didn't look like it at first, but it kind of filled in a little bit later. So Wildcats did win 106-76 versus the Coyotes 8-4 on the season. If there's one more non-conference game left before it gets real, but well, that defense in the second half, oh gosh, it's not real good. I mean, I just scored like 21 points or something in the first half, and so I still got a lot of work to go on that side of it. But the first time I've seen them score 100 points in person since I was a kid. So I guess there is that. So we'll see. So when they get going, they can get going offensively. They certainly don't like into the half court. That's for sure. So Sunday, managed to get a couple of batches of barbecue sauce made, some pulled pork. It turned out really good. That was on my weekend list of things to do. Watched the Jaguars beat the crap out of the Denver Broncos yesterday in Denver. That was always nice. So they won their 6th straight game now and are 11-4. 2 weeks left. Possibly win the conference and could possibly be a #1 seed in the AFC before it's all said and done. So a lot to root for still, yeah. So, and that's all I've got.
Friday evening, we went up to Farmhouse in Riley for supper, and then up to Leonardville to see the Christmas lights. There was a group called Light Up 66449 that started raising money a couple of years ago, put up lights, and they're not just traditional strings of light on house, but they're more outlined pictures, some with motions. They're all custom made. And Billy should take it. It's worth the drive to go there and see it. It's really neat.
It's going to be there after Christmas.
I don't know how long they keep that. Probably, yeah, I don't know when they take it down. Saturday, I mentioned I also went to the K-State basketball game. I was overmatched opponent, but yeah, but at least gave them a chance. I think they're getting themselves ready. Get themselves turned back around, hopefully for big development. Yeah. Next Sunday, kids and grandkids were out for Christmas through the day. Had a great time. And I got a bonus. My son stayed late and helped me organize the garage. And we actually have a car in the garage.
Just the time before snow season.
Yeah.
Good thing. Good thing.
And that's all I had.
Find your car in the garage.
Well, mine's got a remote start, hers doesn't. So I know, I'm straight. First item, Commissioners, we're running any employee action form, Elizabeth Harmon, new hire, medical billing and coding specialist in the health department. Layton Price, new hire, volunteer firefighter, fire district number 1, Penny Bellman, retirement, custodian, public works. I give a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the employee action forms as listed on the agenda.
I will second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the Riley County employee action. It's all in favor. Aye.
Vote please sign.
Supposed to be 60 something.
Yeah. Six weeks. But when did like last week? Not quite that. I think our got at 25, no, so just half as bad as what this thing. Oh, right. Typical candlesman. Yes.
Just our usual.
We can get kind of windy this time of the year, though. It's not a question.
Yeah, Thursday afternoon, I was out. Holy cow. It's strong.
Let's do now. Yeah.
Was out of Vale Thursday afternoon up at the top of that hill. Holy cow.
Talking about wind, we need to go out at John's shop out there.
Oh, right.
It's obnoxious weed, the winds blowing. There is nothing in between them.
Oh, yeah.
It is brutal out there. Next commission need a motion to approve payroll and accounts payable.
Make a motion to approve payroll and accounts payable.
I'll second. Been moved and seconded to approve the payroll and accounts payable for December 26th. All in favor? Aye.
Vote please sign.
Is that coming on the 26th still?
Yes,
Didn't sound confident there.
well, Brittany and Michelle actually processed the payroll over the weekend.
Oh,
To avoid any potential.
okay.
Yeah.
Was I got a receipt there and I thought that's a little early, but okay, that explains why.
Sort of class, calls for whatever they want, worry about employees not getting paid. This is kind of the loss leader stuff, it's the day,
Okay.
and so we processed it on like Saturday.
I evidently had an old form on the mile. I had an old form on mileage.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's a different number of them. It's nice round. I said, okay, I must have an old one.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
It changes. This had a mark of 25, but I bet it was 20.
It changed mid-year or something
Yeah,
too.
but she's saying it changes. State changes stuff a lot.
You forgot what I mean.
And this one.
It's.
Amen.
All right. Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Reed, Human Resource Manager. On December 18th, President Trump issued an executive order regarding federal holiday closures, stating that Wednesday, December 24th and Friday, December 26th are to be treated as federal holidays. The county policy provides that we observe all federal holidays, and historically, Riley County has complied with both executive orders and our own policies when determining holiday observances. Based on that executive order, I'm requesting that Riley County observe December 24th as a federal holiday and be closed to the public. We are already scheduled to close at noon on the 24th, so that would simply extend an already approved half-day. County offices are already closed on the 26th, so we're just asking to extend that Wednesday to a full day instead of half-day. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer anything I can.
Pretty much everybody's calling it.
And I ran numbers and we're at least 25% of the county already having requested the time off. And that's those who have already just put it in, not those that are planning and haven't put it in. So.
It's kind of the gist with that midweek setup there. I know we're also closed, so it's Wednesday, Thursday, and sometimes we work on Fridays. We're not going to be this week, so basically the same setup. So there's a lot of people same thing, so it's fine with me.
We need a motion for. Just acknowledge that.
Just acknowledge that you're okay with the holiday, but we just consensus, even when they both mean the same.
Yeah, just follow
Consensus.
all federal holidays.
Yeah.
Thank you, commissioners.
We've done it several other times with Juneteenth and
Yeah.
President Carter's funeral or whatever you call it. Wake. Mhm. That was about a year ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
Commissioner, can you change the minutes?
Didn't have any. I make a motion then to approve the minutes as written from the December 18th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
I'll second. Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the December 18th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
And as the commissioner.
There was no tentative agendas listed.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
So they look good.
Well, I was just gonna ask, are we gonna meet the
Yeah,
next
no,
two
we-
Mondays? Cause you know, yeah, there was nothing attached to them, so I don't know if they're good or not.
I'll have Cindy send those to you. Stuff here.
If I recall, they weren't overly long.
Any of the next week's press conference, commissioners.
Nothing.
Okay, next you have, call at 9:00.
Just have fun and you guys will worry over this. And I'm going to have a long time all that year. I have been session, you know, so.
Yes, sir.
Send me an email, you guys know. And there's.
This is 12. For that day, I printed it from Civic Clerk.
Thank you.
Okay. Can't be tentative, that has to be the final one.
Huh?
That's be the final one. We're at 9:30. There's nothing. Not gonna allow any ads to it.
That sounds good. I'll vote for that.
Wow.
the executive session that I want.
Figures.
Just not all.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
There it is.
I didn't know. Titans had an 11 game. Wasn't Titans had an 11 losing streak. It's pretty bad there.
Number one and number two all paired their ACLs in back-to-back weeks.
It's a bit of a.
I don't know.
Heard that the guy that
I
just everybody heard that.
Yeah, he's been on the team for a while. He was a bad icon first for practice. Like at least I would say 3 years.
Where did he come from?
I'm not sure exactly.
Looking up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
I was watching the bits and pieces of that game too, and was like, ouch. How the mighty have fallen.
And then, like you said, right.
Let's see. It shows you just how, true, it shows you just how important Mahomes has been over the last almost decade.
There should be a good amount of shade up.
Mhm.
This helps. The play calling was hardly predictable.
Yeah, it has really been for most of the season, but when we got somebody that can,
Yeah, they're relying on that.
yeah.
I think after the first round of bowl championship series games, you can guarantee there's gonna be a change next year.
Did OU end up being Alabama?
They did not. Alabama came behind.
Oh, man, I didn't see that. I don't know you want to.
So if the two blowouts for the.
I think everybody saw that one coming.
Yeah, I know, they're not happy.
Either they're gonna have to
Well, they
extend
put
it
them
to
against
16
you know.
and expect that from the, the 1 versus 16 or whatever,
Yeah.
but left out a couple of pretty good teams, a Notre Dame team that I think would have made that game a lot better.
Exactly, and that's why the first change.
Both Tulane and James Madison were just overmatched. So it's pretty apparent.
That's what looking up that old college, it lists South Florida, Samford, and South Dakota State. So he was moving around. That was before this.
Oh, yeah.
He's been out of for the transfer. They said he was with Pittsburgh for a year or two.
Hmm.
We're going to see what we have on our practice squad.
Yeah.
Our lines
Well,
get estimated.
Right.
Do they go out and do like the Colts and
Yeah.
get an old dude?
Hey, if I'm Brady, it would.
Yeah, I don't think Tom Brady's gonna give up his share of ownership to come quarterback at this point in time.
That's true.
Maybe Eli.
I think Eli would be better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Kurt Warner, maybe?
Just play for a little bit.
Yeah, just play for a couple of games for fool's sake.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs still have the Broncos and the Raiders, right?
The Raiders might be that cool game.
Yeah, that's oof. I swear they've been rebuilding for like 12 years. The Raiders. Yeah.
Suddenly, it was beat the Texans yesterday though.
I wish they would have.
Wow.
I wish they would have. I was just surprised how Sam beat the Broncos. I mean,
Yeah, I did. I thought the Broncos would actually.
one of the best defenses in the NFL. They couldn't stop us.
Well, when Lawrence is on,
He's on.
he's on. Yeah.
He's had 3 different coaches in his 5 years, 4 different offensive coordinators during that time. I mean, it's hard to be consistent, but he's come a long ways.
Okay. Doken, there's 2 high schools and 3 colleges. He moves around. Yeah.
What?
I don't know. Just getting everything's blocked except the headlights and stuff,
Yeah.
Because I thought the guy from Missouri was their backup for a while, wasn't he?
We had Zappy for a little bit. Haley Zappy. I remember which she was. Yeah, Chase Daniels for a long.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, we had him for a long time. He retired.
That's not a bad gig because they pay pretty well to be the
Mhm.
second, third string guy, not, just a practice squad guy.
That's not a bad gig.
Yeah. So Ed Neely did that in basketball. He was known as a good practice player and he'd come in and fill in a little bit. He played, never started, I don't think, a game, but he played for like 10 years in the NBA.
Okay. Well, if you could try to emulate, certain players or whatever it is. that
Well,
could
he
be
was a
good.
big, burly, tough guy underneath.
Yeah.
I don't know, nice thing about getting Christmas over with and get rid of all these emails and these ads.
Like I say, that's 5 minutes. This is over now. We had our big thing yesterday.
Yeah. It's drug out so long. Got one tomorrow, got one on Sunday. I think I might have one in between there. I just follow the wife.
I still haven't done my Christmas shopping yet.
You're stressing, yeah. I need you to get it done.
Knock on wood, I don't have to do it, so.
Yeah. Nothing a gift card can't handle. I'm horrible at gifts, so I just let everybody have money and say, go get whatever you want on me.
Sometimes
We do that.
Problem solved.
Grandkids especially, know what a teenager wants right now.
Not enough time, I can just have a bunch of 6-7 t-shirts printed out and give those out.
That's a long, that's.
Hey, 6-7 Cam, at the K-State games now.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe
That's
it.
okay, it's the new one.
And what is it?
It's just nothing, it's nothing.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a song of some sort that's
No,
somebody just
no, it's just something somebody's.
made a video about and went viral.
Wesley and I talk a lot about all this is, does virtual school, so we're like, man, like all this stuff that people are learning at school, so we're golden, we don't have to.
You don't get into that.
My 5-year-old came home and he's like 6'7", I'm like, no. We were so close.
It's so far.
He's saying it's
Right.
just something to be goofy, I guess. Initially, I think it was to annoy people, but it's gotten on enough that.
Yeah.
Everybody's just kind of, whatever. 6-7, whatever.
Hopefully it'll pass soon.
No, the sad thing is it'll be replaced by the next worst thing.
Not wrong. Awesome.
Done any more work over there at the chambers? Haven't been over there since early last week.
I haven't poked my head in there recently. I did see, and I assume we're going there, a crew of driveway was looking in Friday.
Okay. Let's start on the wall over there.
Going in after we got back to the. You see to put my stuff away and everything's into a pile in the middle and I didn't even get to my desk.
I didn't think about even opening anything up to do that. I wanted to grab something out of the file drawer and I'm like,
It's all stacked together in the middle now.
Curious to see how it's gonna look.
yeah,
An improvement in the.
I would think so.
How's it going?
Going well? Are you ready for the holiday week?
It's here.
Sort of, yeah.
You got here quick.
Probably the least productive week of the year in the organization.
See that one of the week just following Christmas in between New Year's. It's a toss up, I would agree.
People just check out.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to say that's a 2026 issue.
Yeah.
The next week is birthday week.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Good.
I got Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
What do you have?
4 kids the week after Christmas. Well, then my son-in-law's is 2 days later, so we have 5 within 7 days.
It's not fair you planned all those around Christmas like that.
Yeah, no planning for kids.
I think it's been here. It should. Yeah, it's been here. It's not like you got very far to go.
That's what I was thinking. It's a lot closer here than it is the other way.
Making that too, so many people leave on vacation and stuff, may not think, Christmas or something.
This could be.
Yeah.
You may make it. We're not confident otherwise.
He's not over here, is he downtown?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, administrative offices are downtown Houston.
Houston. I was thinking,
You know, the. I won't say clinical stuff, because there's clinical stuff that happens there too, but mostly it is here in Claflin building.
it's gone through a lot of things.
Oh, that
That,
Houston.
Yeah.
I remember when it was actually a ballroom.
yeah, Houston Street Station,
Yeah.
then a restaurant.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
People would dance every Friday and Saturday nights over there. I'm gonna say it wasn't terribly long ago, but that was the 1980s, so yeah, it was terribly a long time
It's
ago.
so well, we've been, still have been sitting upstairs, because my daughter to her wedding reception there.
It's a pretty good open space.
Features with the restaurant they put in a new building that's going out of Commerce Bank was,
What's kind of a steakhouse?
they're on the main floor, there's part of it's gonna be a restaurant anyway, I was told originally.
Yeah. You fill
What
the
you see when one of what's that building on whatever you call road? With Riley, yeah, if they change the zoning and make it, they can put a restaurant in there.
Yeah, he was gonna do that, I heard something about them on the radio last week.
Where?
I'm across from Wagyu Beef.
Where this.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Retail shop.
Yeah. Superstore.
No, once they get.
I don't know if they doing anything down in Aggieville where they tore down that bank on the corner.
Yeah, it's been empty forever.
Yeah, I assume they tore it down, they had plans to do something, and didn't. And at first they had it blocked off, I don't know if Aggieville paid for something, but now it's an extra parking lot.
Yeah.
Popeyes is closed.
They were trying to buy. Somebody was trying to get Popeyes there.
Yeah.
And put a.
Larger, yeah, that's what I've heard too.
So larger
Popeyes is closed there too, so. It was for 2 years now.
It's a part of it with commercial.
Really? It drives through
What I heard from.
True.
Really?
But I mean, I like them.
I do too.
It's,
I think,
get about it, you get what it
I
is.
think there's a big issue.
Very busy.
No,
No, it's never,
Services.
yeah, that's been the problem. Yeah, I've just heard there is somebody's trying to buy both lots to do something a little bigger. I don't know
Well, that'd
what.
be good because, yeah, it's, doesn't get much business.
If I remember right, it used to be the bank, Arby's, kind of a half of a parking lot there.
Yeah, anyone that thinks there's not construction going on in this town just needs to drive. There's lots of precedent.
Oh, yeah.
Number one and two, new roundabouts is better than, you know, it's really nice. It does get jobs with everybody's.
You gotta get it finished, or at least it's. On the 113 there, yeah, and kind of tear down that. Fly by there. Make it just look, the other one, they have to do some clothes. And the way I understand it anyway is they're not gonna be the precast type, they're gonna actually have to build them from scratch, and so that's gonna be. Those culverts over there on the north side of the north.
going to the dam.
The ones that were there are non-functional,
Yeah.
so if you're gonna do it, you need to do it right. It's gonna take a lot more time and be a lot more burdensome, but it'll be done correctly.
Especially cold weather.
I think our concern is in getting emergency services down to Lakeside there, how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
As it stands, we'll have to go all the way around. We'll have to go all the way around Barnes and come back in there, and that's not ideal.
It's not a good option. You're the one in the emergency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it almost makes sense to have some temporary services are just already located just in case somewhere there. So if that happens, it's there already. It's gonna take an extra 10 to 15 minutes, easy. And that's the easy part of the day. That's not even, 3 o'clock.
I need to go back on the backside to get to it. Not good sightlines.
I did ask KDOT for an update on the Marlette lights. Why they just decided to pull those after the discussion was leaving those up there at least through construction and then making a decision of whether or not making those permitted or not, but they just took them down. So I'm asking them to give me better rationale than we just took them down.
They may say because we can.
Well, I mean, they may do that, but it's that puts the onus on them instead of everybody else, but I tend to.
Maybe pre or post crash data that the lights are without us.
And we have at least the pre, and we're still working on, at least the MPO is still working on what it's looked like since the lights have been up, and they'll have those shortly too, and that'd be pretty distinctive.
Tell us the right.
Yeah, what we'll do, we played with high school, one school sophomore, junior year, they transferred, had us this week with the head coach and transferred to a different school for the senior year. He redshirted 1 year at South Florida and then played 1 year and transferred, no, played 2 years, transferred to Samford, played a year there, and then transferred to South Dakota State, played a year there.
It's a little bit of a tumultuous.
Yeah.
Well, kind of become a commonplace down though.
That's true. Huh. Well, it would explain why he is probably in the spot. Charlton.
Although he said he was drafted in the 7th round. So he was drafted. But he didn't. Pittsburgh drafted.
Pittsburgh drafted.
Yeah. Good, how are you? See you. That's my mom. Yeah, Aaron, good to see you again. Like looking kind of way off and on for the other team. I think they transferred to the state. They went 11-4 this year. He started all the games. Was your first one? Yeah, that's good. Didn't give him a try. Round.
7th round by Pittsburgh. Said he threw one pass or something until he.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that was as yesterday. So
Like.
that sample size is a little bit larger now.
Yeah.
Oh, those some passes. I mean, they weren't bad, but I mean, it just it's hard to retake a playbook to somebody that's so tired. You know, the two quarterbacks.
I didn't need it in practice. Basically, I didn't give him what you heard about about so. You know, it was a lot I asked. Like that. I needed pretty well. So.
Thankfully, it was the right hand and right. Be good. Whatever. You know, get hammered.
Yeah, and just start.
Front office will have their work cut out for them in the off season for sure.
Actually proceed, so.
It'd be nice to have them a little more. There are a lot of running backs that he just chose not to get. And it was looking for they just set those rest.
So up to you.
I think
That was very high.
I think we need to change the offensive game plan that is moving forward and become a little bit more of a running team. This is what's gonna happen. I mean, he's not young anymore by quarterback standards and what's admitted, he's not much a trained athlete.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
Well, and you got to
Stop around that.
AFC championship.
so they play. A lot of football. Yeah. Yeah.
So. People will come in for December. Right, when you get it.
And got several people that are of retirement age too.
So Aaron, all your stuff's here to just scroll down here if you need to.
Here's my pages that each way that we are to get those on this. Okay.
I don't see them pull the plug completely and making it a complete rebuild or anything, but any running back. But their offensive tackle would be pretty good too.
Yeah. And another head writer.
Mhm.
You watch the,
I guess you get Simmons back next year. And
Yeah.
kicks off some of the, you know,
So.
you guys see the end of the Detroit game?
yeah, well, that's,
That was bizarre.
I hate it when, you know, refs have to come in and take, I mean, I understand penalties happen, but they literally took over the, you know, the decision of that game and they called 3 straight penalties even before.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, guys, let them play.
Any context, what happened?
So the last play of the game, they're 9-yard line or something like that. Goff throws a pass. It's obviously offensive pass interference, you know, push off, but when he catches it, he doesn't make it into the end zone. He's about a half yard short. And as he's getting tackled, he pitches it to Goff. This isn't a design play, it just play fell apart. Goff leaps in, gets tackled, it makes a touchdown, you know, this crowd goes wild kind of mentality and then flags everywhere. But when the umpire or the ref announced it, instead of just saying, you know, he said, we recognize the catch, pitch and the touchdown. So the crowd think that, oh, but there's offensive pass interference, so everything's going away. It's real weird how it worked. It's just, you were in that crowd, you were thinking he was
It
calling.
wasn't much different than Thursday night's game ended kind of in the same similar fashion, the 2-point conversion.
That was awesome.
I mean, yeah.
I think I can see why the record must say that is like, we're not discounting all that cool stuff.
I think that's why I tried to do it, but if you were in the crowd, it was really the episode of highs. It's like,
Yeah.
and Goff is my fantasy quarterback. All 6 points on that, so.
They just don't have much luck when it comes to those crazy plays like that. Or when they make it shakes and say, most over and you get set and they're like, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm.
No, it's gonna be like a, I don't know, national championship game, Super Bowl or something's gonna end just like that. And then everybody's gonna be up in arms.
Well, we never did it last times.
No. Won a couple Super Bowls before that were, you know, pretty intense, but. Reminds me of that Chiefs Browns game from, I don't know, 15, 17 years ago.
I don't know.
Well, it was a defensive penalty. The guy from the Browns thought they had won and yanked his helmet off before he got off the field. So I gave the Chiefs 1 extra untimed ball. So they went out and kicked the field goal and won. Yeah, I'd even further than that, the fact that Dick Bill was still catching, so it's probably longer than that.
Yeah, one of the things earlier was raised the Chiefs.
I was gonna say, oh, okay, I was gonna say which one.
Yeah. And 1-0. Yeah, it's the one.
That was in Indy, if I remember right, too.
Yeah, I think so. It's a ball.
That was the one year, it's way back, I've already shot every days, but. Had to beat the Raiders in the last day of the season to get in. And they played the Steelers in the first round. It was like pouring down rain, turned to freezing rain, and it was just like, oh, it got off again. I think they won like 10-6 or something.
We'll never go through it.
Yeah.
You know, his back.
It was like 90.
Well, this is on.
Yeah, it's a little.
I said Marty shot him, so that should tell you.
It looks small, but it's a little bit older.
It's more. Those figures. But it's.
All right, we'll be here.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Erin Friedline, Deputy Director of the Riley County Police Department, and I'm in front of you today kind of asking for your consideration of a new lease space for the Riley County Police Department substation in Aggieville. I'll get back to this drawing in just a minute. Just wanted to give you an overview, a little background on our current space. This is just the restroom facility. Might be a little bit hard to read. We do try and have a eye wash station if we use our pepper spray in this, but this is also the common restroom for everyone as well. And right now that door doesn't even lock for us. But this is a shot towards the front, towards Morrow Street. This is in the 1100 block of Morrow currently. And you'll see we have tried to make some desk space in there, and we have carpet. We have a line down to try and do a DUI test if we had to in there as well.
You put the tape down. You might want to test tape too. There too.
And then this is a shot from our front door looking in, and you can kind of see we do have these chairs and a table there. That's a little bit of our effort. If we arrest somebody and as you guys can imagine, in a fight situation, we oftentimes will detain more than one person. But now we walk into this space and we try and at least use the table as a barrier to give us a second to maybe separate everybody, because obviously they can still fairly easily communicate with each other until we can get things settled down a little more. And that's just kind of a different overhead shot. But this space has served us as far, when I looked back, as early as 1993. So this has been the same space that we've tried to occupy. We do have businesses on both sides of us. As you can imagine, that can be very loud. They're entertainment businesses, so they do have the loud music. And so this is a quieter space during the day to work on your paperwork, but a noisy space in the evening as well.
Somebody had told me that you had to replace the storefront there, the glass in the doors after the fire brothers, and well, I guess that was 99.
That would be a little before my time. I'd have to defer to Mark if you remember that.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but.
But even, they've tried to do some things like adding carpet to a space like this to try and absorb some of the noise. But as you can imagine, that has proved to not be the best of our ideas. If someone loses control of their faculties or vomits, we do have some stains in there that we probably never appropriately cleaned as well. So that moves me into an opportunity with one of our local businessmen. They were purchased a space off of the 12th Street of Laramie, and they're putting in a hotel there. And in some conversations, there was an opportunity to utilize some of the storefront space as a potential new substation. Our current substation is just over 600 square feet. The new area has about 1,850 square feet. And this is kind of just a basic rendition of it, where there would be just a front lobby area. As you can imagine, sometimes when we detain or arrest some individuals, they often will have people with them. Having that lobby space to maybe hold on to those concerned patrons that are with those, but then allow us an opportunity to step away from the front lobby area as well would be good for us. This would include it's kind of a basic rectangular space with at least 2 separate interview rooms and a much larger restroom that could, it would be a unisex restroom for the officers, but provide us a space to have a better wash area and decontamination area for not only us, because oftentimes we get sprayed as well when we're interacting with subjects, but also any subjects that we have to decon. And then we would just kind of have an open space to either have some people wait for a transport unit, whatever we would need. We could have a small table. There's a kind of a blanket space for us to kind of do some things in the future. We look at this opportunity in the over 2 times the square footage as something that's like our next 30 years. I think we've done the best we can to squeeze into that space we're in now, but this kind of gives us the ability to expand in the future. And then we would also have some storage space in our own separate, we would not have to take any kind of subjects through the hotel proper part. We would have a separate entrance and then a separate way to get into our transport units to remove a subject. Right now, once we get in the substation, if we get a car out front, we have to kind of go back through the crowd and get them into that, which obviously can give the officers some challenges and difficulties as well. This space, that'd be something to hopefully further negotiate, is a couple designated police parking stalls in the hotel, but a back way for us to remove people without having to reconfront the public or anything like that.
Is that getting you back out onto 11th Street and then out, or is that still keeping you open?
This would be the alleyway.
Okay. Gotcha.
So kind of a private space there. Yeah, that lobby, this would be more our 12th Street there. So that would be ideal for us. I know I have sent the contract to at least your county counselor in general. I was not made aware of any drastic concerns as well. The initial agreement would be for at least an initial 5-year agreement with the opportunity to continue to expand that long-term as well. So RCPD would continue to take care. Right now, the Board of County Commissioners pays for our current lease, which is, you guys just renewed it as $1,000 a month. The new space has the ability to extend that contract, and we would be looking at roughly $3,000 a month, but none of that has truly been fully negotiated yet as well. But we think this would just be a really good opportunity. The storage area would be helpful to us as well, to be able to put our bike unit and some additional things. You guys have heard us talk about our current facility on Sutchild. We are very limited in storage. We're acquiring an additional service starting in 2026. That storage could probably be immediately used to try and house some of those items that come with an additional responsibility as well. So we're already potentially thinking of some ways in the coming year to optimize all of that space to the best of our ability. And we really do think this would be a long-term solution for us to continue to have a good footprint. 12th Street in Aggieville continues to be a very good spot for us to operate from, but a little bit off the beaten path is not a bad idea, we think, for the police department as well, having some access through that alleyway too. But I would stand for any additional questions you guys have, but that would be my recommendation as you guys continue to negotiate with this property going forward for consideration.
Makes sense. I know that existing space is, isn't enough.
Grateful for the property and the ability to work with us on that property, but yeah, I think we've squeezed out its life usage at this particular point in time. And I know we've had discussions in the past in other various locations in the Aggieville district there, and what that would look like. And of course, logistics and some other things probably been gonna fall through very well on this. So this looks like a better option, I think, all the way around the board. And you're already in the process of building the space out. So what better time to do it than while you're actually building the space out? I think it's more effective to get it done up front than to come back in and try to redesign or remodel a space that's already been planned for something else. So
No, and this owner has been very generous to do the build out for us.
Yeah.
Our CPD would have to supply the furnishings and, the computers and things like that. But all the flooring, walls, electrical, everything's ran for us. And I would consider that as a significant benefit to any other options you guys have been presented with previously as well.
How do we need to go about this, Rich?
Well, just a couple items. Who will pay maintenance on this new portion? Because I believe you currently pay maintenance for the current square footage that you're leasing from Glen Ripple. So will it come from the RCPD budget to pay the maintenance and the utilities?
So yeah, we currently pay for water and utilities. We really haven't had too much other maintenance other than when we've painted it or tried to replace part of the carpet and stuff. So to me, that would still be the agreement as RCPD. It would cover the electric and utilities and any drastic problems with the building. I think we could work with the owner of the hotel as well to determine what damage needs to be fixed there, who's responsible for that.
When is this plan to be ready?
That was gonna be my question too.
He anticipates us to be able to move in as early as October. The agreement as it stands would potentially take, you guys just signed a year agreement, so January. I think that fourth quarter would allow RCPD some time, once it's finished, to start transferring things if you guys move ahead with this location, and just give us a little bit of time to get our furnishings in there or order any benches or anything more appropriate for our needs. So I think we would be fine to at least have the opportunity to give our current leasee at least a 60-day notice of when we would truly
That's
be in that.
last contract. We
When did
can start with the existing facility, is it 30 or 60?
No, I mean, the new
The current one is a 30-day notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned this in your presentation. My other concern is for whatever board sitting here at that point in time when it needs to be renewed, is that it's long-term, because you said 5 years, you said the next 30 years. So we needed to be clear with the current owner, and the current owner, if the current owner sells, which could very likely happen in the next 30 years. This is a space that they need long-term. I'm very supportive of this. We need to do it, but if we're gonna go through this effort and spend the money, and RCPD is gonna get comfortable in there, it does need to be there for the next 30 years. And so I don't know how we legally can address those concerns now and in the future, but 5 years really, to me, starting out isn't long enough, but whatever. I'm not here to make those decisions in 5 years. So we need to be aware of that. And as we all hear, everyone wants taxes to stay low. We do not have this budgeted for 2026 at any point in time, and this is just on this small portion of RCPD, and we know what RCPD inmate housing and medical is costing us. It's impossible to reduce taxes at the rate all of this community is growing in this one aspect where we're gonna triple the cost. And so I'm very supportive of this. We just need everyone to be aware and educated to these facts.
Yeah, the longevity side of it is something I'm kind of concerned with as well. We obviously know where we've been the last 30 years with need, and obviously the business district down there has grown exponentially in several different ways and aspects, both good and you might say bad, I guess. But so this is going to be a need that's going to have to be long-term. I don't want to move into a space and then have to try to move into another space. And so we do need to think about this long-term and definitely more than 5 years.
Well, so if in most real estate transactions, when you want to extend term, usually there's costs that start to get more negotiated in it as well. So if we want to cover that, we certainly can. Just but understanding there's gonna be some probably.
Well, it's all negotiation. I would think 10.
At least.
I would feel more comfortable with at least with a 10.
What that agreement has is it has 5 years, and then within the agreement as well has that you can then renew it for another 5 years. So essentially, it's a 10-year contract.
It's
It's actually 2 5-year renewal options at your request.
Oh, okay.
It's technically a 15-year commitment to the RCPD, so as part of the lease, it's just, I think we talked about it, 5 years was the original term that everybody was comfortable with, and then you have the option to extend it for another 5 years, and then a further option to extend it for another 5 years.
Okay.
And then the other difference in this contract compared with the previous agreement is there was no standard escalator each year. This has 3.5%, I believe, or 3%. So commission needs to be aware of that. The current landlord, you know,
Yeah,
because I think the reason this new landlord is offering this is, you know, a good faith effort for the community, which I think is great, but we're going to have a 3.5% increase on that rental space every year now, what we don't have that currently.
In light to Mr. Vargo's comments as well, you know, if board were to decide RCP could not move into that space until 2027, maybe that would give you guys time for changes in any future budgets as well to accommodate that if there was a decision not to even move in there in 2026 since the current budget is set.
And don't read that wrong. That is what I was saying. And we just need to be financially prepared. We can handle that. That is not the issue. It's the education to everyone, certainly not. We will have to amend the RCPD budget next year, guaranteed. And so.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think we're probably gonna have to do that anyway. And that's just,
You are correct.
yeah, and that's of no fault of RCPDs or anybody's. That's just basic nature of everything.
And it would be another transfer from general.
Yeah.
Is where that money to come from, and we talked about that already again this year, since we've already done material to do another from general, I couldn't give you an estimate how much right now, but we would have to pay it from county general.
Well, it sounds like it wouldn't be until October, you said?
At the earliest, yeah, he's not planned to be completed till the fourth quarter.
That's gonna be a couple $100 or something to start out the lease on that if you're prorating it from an entire year.
So, can I make a few comments on, is that the chair?
Yeah, come up, TJ.
My name's TJ Vilkanskis. I'm with Back Nine Development. Our holding company for this piece of property is Midtown Land Company, so that's why you see that name all over the place. A couple things I just wanted to address. One, we would be willing to allow RCPD a grace period to move in where we wouldn't charge in between October and January, which should help them transition to the new space without incurring additional expenses. Two, it's costing us about $300,000 to finish out the space. So if you do the math, just on the $3,000 a month, that's an 8-year payback for us. Just to get our leaseholds back, let alone anything else. So we are very much doing this because we believe in the RCPD. We want their presence in Aggieville, and I want their presence in our building. I believe selfishly, it helps our hotel. And I believe that we're going to own the hotel long term. We own it in what's called a qualified opportunity zone fund. And basically that is a way to take advantage of some taxes. But the only way to do that is if you own the property for 10 plus years. So we own the hotel, we own the building, and we will own it for 10 plus years. So that ownership will not change during that time period, at least. So to address any short-term concerns on a change in ownership, that's the structure in which it's set up. The other thing that we've started to talk about here is what's going to happen across 12th Street. We own all of that land also. And right now in design, we have a 205 bedroom, higher end student housing with event space on the ground level that can host events up to 400 and 500 people, with a second Aggieville parking garage on the east side of that property, which would hold maybe 400 to 500 parking stalls. There's a long ways to go to get that approved yet at this point in time, but that's the direction in which we're moving. Another reason why I truly believe having our CPD across the street from that new property with the event space and everything is only a benefit to us in the properties we own. So this is not a charity thing for me. This is a marketing thing that I feel better about having the presence of our CPD there. Like I said, a couple of things that were brought up is that transition cost. I don't anticipate that being anything. You guys can move into that at your leisure over that 3-month time period and not start paying rent until January 1. A couple other things that were addressed were the lease terms. We structured it as a 5-year lease at 3.5% a year just to keep up with inflation, with tenant options to extend for an additional 5 years and then an additional 5 years after that. That is not something I'm super concerned with. So if we need to modify that, we certainly can. And when we were talking about the space, the first thing that was brought up is parking for squad cars and things like that. That's not going to be an issue. We'll write that into the lease also, even though it is not in there at this point in time. We'll work through that information, but excited for the opportunity to have RCPD there. This is not a moneymaker for us, though. This is more of we just like the presence there. Aggieville struggled here for a while now, and we're spending a lot of money as a community in infrastructure and keeping it safe and clean, and all of those things are going to be really important as we go forward, or we've wasted that money. So yeah.
So having the in the building, I'm sure you get apply probably for some tax exemption on that, but that was. Is that right?
There's no special tax exemption there that we're going to apply for, actually. So we hadn't planned on it. We need the TIF to be successful. And so the reason we don't have a property tax abatement or anything like that on that property is because we need to feed the TIF. So we have more money in Aggieville to continue to improve infrastructure. So and that's such a small space of that hotel, that's a 70,000 plus building with a very small footprint there. So I don't know that would necessarily move the needle for us one way or the other, to be honest with you. So that is not our intent. We work the reason the project kind of works is we got the city parking lot for $1 that they weren't paying any property taxes on. We're paying $70,000 a year. We have been since we took it over, more than they were paying before. So that's been helping the TIF. But our plan for the secondary parking garage is to basically swap land. So we're going to give them, the city, that land for $1. And so then there's really no benefit there. I'm just trying to help Aggieville grow and build that up. We were the reasons that the project stalled to begin with. What was originally supposed to be a mixed use office building, it didn't work out. So, I've been in this community since 1982. It's our objective to make sure that Aggieville keeps moving forward in a positive direction. Other questions?
No.
Appreciate your time. So, thank you.
I just think we need more to vote or read by consensus to allow RCPD staff and county staff to proceed on working on.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this for the better part of almost my entire terms, really almost 8 years now, and haven't really come up with I guess what I would call a solvable solution at this point in time. It seems more than likely to be it. So not taking advantage of it would make any sense. I think everybody pointed out the benefit factors there. I'm sure when we get into the numbers, we can figure it out. Yeah.
Don't, Jacob, just make.
Yeah.
Contract perfect.
Yeah.
I know it's hard.
Thank you very much, commissioners. We appreciate it.
You guys have a good holiday.
You too. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
You're up, John.
Good morning. I'm John Allerman, Public Works, and forgive my casual attire today, but I'm not working today.
Why are you?
I'm doing this for Alvin. So in front of you is an agreement we made with Erie County to kind of swap some roads for snow removal purposes, pretty much only. We have a section of Bowler Road that it's a long way to get there for a little bit of time, a little bit of road to maintain and deal with. So I'll start with it. From Bowler, pretty much Ogden exit on 18. We've got to go all the way to the interstate. Well, that's going to screw that up now with the work, but all the way to the interstate, travel almost a mile or so of Bowler Road before we get to Riley County section, which is another mile, a little over a mile, that we maintain. And so in that same sense, we are maintaining, we plow McDowell Creek Road, And we stopped like a quarter mile, half a mile short of the interstate, is Geary County. And we really don't have a good place to turn around right there. So as we are plowing down, we might as well come down and hit the interchange, turn around and go back. So we're asking to swap those pieces of road for winter maintenance only. Even though Bowler is a gravel road, it still needs to get attention when it snows deep enough. And we're down there and needs a safe place to turn around. So that's why that's why we have that in front of us, and just to make it legal and binding, kind of to let everybody know what we're doing, and it's on paper that who's covering what. So.
And the main thing I might add is, as John said, it's the agreement more or less helps us disclose that, hey, we're not taking on any additional responsibility for this program whatsoever. And so we want to make that very clear.
It's just, we're not improving the road.
Yeah, they're not doing any of that.
Yeah.
And we do similar things with the city. We swap sections of road just for convenience and where we're at and who's where.
I did have a conversation with one of the Geary County commissioners on this. They seem to think that this is a better fit for them too. So key here, when it snows, we've all figured out is everybody wants to have a clear path of getting back and forth. This is going to be a big one moving forward with.
It might actually help one of our employees get to work a little easier sometimes.
Might do that too, but when they start on Clark's Creek over there, this is going to be there's going to be a lot more traffic density on this particular spot, whether there's snow or not. So getting into it a little bit quicker and faster is probably going to be better for everybody involved, at least in this 5 year period. So I don't have a problem with it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Motion?
Yep. I'll make a motion to signing of the snow removal memorandum and understanding with Geary County.
I'll second, and moved in second to approve the snow removal memorandum of understanding with Geary County. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Right. Wouldn't that be off not today? We have 30 some drug tests today now, and so do a team effort. Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Lewis, Director of Community Corrections, here for my staff update. Okay, we're going to start with our juvenile intake and assessment. And for juvenile intake and assessment for the month of November, we had 17 total intakes, and 11 of those were kiddos that were released to their parent or guardian. 3 were placed with a relative or family friend, 1 placed in an emergency shelter, and 2 placed in detention. A common problem we're seeing all over Kansas is placement. We have limited placement options for children that come into temporary custody, and so much so that some agencies are finding that they're having to have staff stay with them overnight in offices because there's nowhere for them to go. So we haven't had that here, thankfully. However, that is something that's being dealt with. For our youth court program, we had 4 pending referrals for the month of November, 12 participants. 2 of those were required jurors and 1 volunteer juror. And then we had no multidisciplinary team referrals, which means that the kiddos were doing pretty good. So a total of 19 in that program. And for our juvenile intensive supervision caseload, that has really grown. You'll see that for the month of November, it was up to 14. And I believe we're at 21 total right now. So for ones that are reporting in our office regularly are 14. Correctional facility, we have 5. And then we have 2 that are interstate compacted out to other states.
For adult services, we have 95 that are currently on intensive supervision, reporting in regularly, 5 in treatment, 10 in jail for a total of 111 with 35 absconders. Our recovery court program we're at 18 current participants, total of 66 since the start of the program, and 21 of those have graduated from the Riley County program, 8 from Clay County, and then 9 that have been removed or revoked for various reasons. We do have some stuff happening in community corrections. We did submit our specialty court funding application last week. That was a big application for such a short turnaround. I think it had 22 attachments that they required for us to submit with it. My biggest concern was that something was going to drop off from that email and that it would get missed. So hopefully that all went through fine. One of the things that we've been doing for FY26 with community corrections is for our monthly staff meeting every month, we have been inviting each of our staff members picked a month, and they have been reaching out to community resources and asking someone to come and present their program to our staff so that we can increase our knowledge and information so that we can help our clients better. So far, we actually did a field trip for Be Able, and we went to Be Able on a Friday afternoon for them to give us a tour of the different houses and the program. And then for Restoration Center, they have come 2 different times to talk about 2 different programs for the Women's Reintegration Home as well as their peer support program. We've had Thrive come in and talk to us, as well as RADAC. And then this last Friday, the health department came in. RADAC it's the Regional Alcohol and Drug Assessment Center. So the reason that we utilize RADAC sometimes is because, for example, they have a quicker turnaround. They can reach our jails quicker and easier than Pawnee Mental Health can sometimes, and it's income-based, and so there's no fee for our clients. And then on Friday, the health department came in. That was Sarah Darnell came in and talked about various health department programs. It was really great information, and we found that all of our staff learned something. There was programs that we each did not know about, and so it was very informational. She brought a lot of pamphlets and handouts that we can provide to our clients, so it was very beneficial for us. Some of the other updates, we're still working to fill our juvenile intake on-call positions. We did extend an offer last week to 1 person, and we're still waiting to find the right candidate for another one of those openings. We have attempted to hire someone, and that didn't work out. So we're being patient because it does take a lot of training and time. So we want the right person to be in there. We are working to update our memorandums of understanding as well as agreements, and we'll be getting with Jacob on those. KDOC now has a standard in place. They want those to be addressed every year just to make sure that we're visiting about the different ones and that they are accurate and up to date. So we'll be back before you at some point to present those. We received approval from the Greater Community Manhattan Foundation to carry over our balance of $1,293.47 that we had through a grant so that we can continue to use those funds after the end of this year into 2026. We use those for our mental health medication for clients, mental health assessments, as well as co-pays and housing assistance. So that funding comes in very handy to help remove barriers for our clients. And then they'll have an opportunity here after the first of the year. Their application process will open on January 1st, and we'll be asking to apply for that as well. Okay. And that is it. I did want to show you. So something that we started this year as well is we are completing what's called the supervisor's briefcase with all of our staff. And it's a program that the Kansas Department of Corrections purchased for all community corrections agencies that wanted to participate in it. And it is, Sandy Harper and I completed an in-house training through the Kansas Department of Corrections, and now we deliver it once a month during our staff meeting to our entire staff. So it talks a lot about evidence-based practices, best practices with case management, and it's a great refresher. Most of our staff have been in our agency for well over 10 years. So it's just a nice refresher to bring us back to what we do. So that is all I have for today. Do you guys have any questions for me?
No.
I did want to let you know that I will be on vacation next week for the whole week. And I also want to thank you for that extended holiday on Wednesday. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Commissioner Davis, chance at 9:55 or earlier at your request.
That's not bad.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jacob Hansen, Riley County Councilor, here to go over a work session, with the main topic being the email that I passed out to you guys earlier, which is a request from the Legislative Post Audit over there for the Kansas Legislature. And you'll notice they're trying to find or choose one city and one county throughout the state to do an IT security audit. Everything is supposed to be confidential. That happens within the audit itself. We don't have to worry about any of that information going out, but I assume it's for them to assess kind of really where are the local governments at as far as IT security goes. And to give you a little bit more potentially what's expected from us if we decide we want to participate, or at least throw our hat in, because we're not guaranteed to get picked either, is they imagine it's going to take about 6 to 8 weeks to actually do the entire report, entire audit. About 2 weeks of that will include county work. We anticipate that would be usually at the department or director level, is going to be the main involvement. They expect about 3 to 5 days of field work, which would be having those legislative audit employees on the field here in Riley County to do a bunch of the legwork of, transferring files, looking at files, and doing whatever IT needs to do. And so they anticipate that they'll provide a plan on what that's going to look like about a month prior. So we have a much clearer idea what's going on or what they anticipate on doing and how it's to be done. Of course, I communicated all this to Corey as well, to get his opinion on whether or not this is something that we should at least be interested in throwing our hat in which he did confirm that we should likely do so. The state's going to do this for free. Usually this can cost a significant amount of money to find out, well, exactly where is your IT system at and where it should be considering. So this could definitely be beneficial. It doesn't seem like the work would be too burdensome. It's hard to say that without seeing the plan beforehand, but I need to provide a response to the Legislative Post Audit by January 5th. So if the board's interested, I can go ahead and I would ask that you make a motion for me to submit an application here. If the board's interested. If the board is not, then I can let them know that as well.
Maybe a little bit of call Kevin Black there. I mean, if anybody's had the most problem with IT and security, it's been the state themselves.
A bit.
Are they auditing themselves, or it's just all about us and what we're doing?
Yeah.
Learn how to do it.
Maybe that's true.
Yeah, that could be. Again, it's
a problem with it. I just think it's interesting that they're watchful eye on local units of government within the state where so exactly good to start with either.
And to be clear, I mean, the purpose, at least when what's communicated in that email, isn't entirely clear on what they plan to do with that information. I imagine that will be discussed again once we're chosen, if we were to be chosen, I should say. That would be enunciated, probably, of course, confidentially, of what the purpose is. So kind of hard to say, but you may be onto something there, John.
My first question was Corey's response.
Yeah.
See, because it does say, well, only a few people get to see the results. Well, there'll be temporary access to those results. Doesn't take them long.
Yeah.
Copy a file. I mean, I appreciate the fact they're going to look at us, but but if Corey thinks we're safe, I'm okay. But it just seems a little.
Yeah, Corey did have a little bit of reservation, I will say, and I would have liked to have him up here, but he is on a well-deserved vacation at this point, and so I just have confirmation from him that he agrees that we should at least see.
Even if we agree to go forward now, if we get into it and he says there's a problem,
Yeah.
Stop anytime, I assume.
Right. Yeah. Until agreements are signed, we're not binded.
Could we get to find more definite details?
Yeah. I imagine there will be, if we do get chosen, there will be a fair amount of paperwork for me to look at.
The board remember, but a couple of years ago, the elections division.
Yes.
Was part of just a handful of counties that, legislative post audit review with their staff coming here. It wasn't voluntary. They selected which counties they wanted to go and participate. So we have been through that from the election standpoint.
And that's an important one too. This is overall, but you know, I'd like a little bit more clear definition of what they're doing and why they're doing it and what their overall goal or expectation from it is, I guess, too, in the process. I'm willing to let it go for now, I guess. That's fine.
Yeah, I think just.
Go ahead and at least we'll apply.
Yeah, apply, and then even if we get selected, if we get hearing from them stuff that we don't like, we can always say never mind.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Well, I will be sure to respond to the email and let them know. We will move forward and see where it takes us from there. And I'll, of course, be back in front of you folks as that progresses. I don't really have anything else outside of this for the administrative session, unless you folks have any specific questions for me as we approach the end of the year. Oh, actually, I take that back. I do have one more update, and Michael should probably be in front of you guys on the 29th regarding our county coroner situation. We should have an applicant or a nomination from the local medical society, or at least we anticipate that to be the case. So
I received a nomination.
oh, there you go. So we'll have that in front of you guys on the 29th. You know, we'll still have to probably work on a contract with whoever ultimately the board appoints for the coroner. But first we need to get that appointment done, and then we can work on that contract. So and just to be aware that is coming your way. Any other questions that you may have? No. Okay. Moving on to the next subject here, of course, is we got our agreement for leased facilities and intercommunal shelter services. This is between us and Prairie Paws. You'll recall about a year ago, we went ahead and amended this contract to reduce much of the fees to make it more proportional to what actual services they're providing the county. And that agreement, of course, expires the 31st. And so we have this agreement in front of you today. There are a number of things that are really staying the same. However, there are a couple that are changing. Namely, and probably most importantly, of course, is the fee structure. We're not doing a flat fee, and instead it's an escalation of 2.5%, but it is listed, and I have it here on the fiscal impact as well, of what the cost is going to be each year. And so beforehand, they did not have an escalation in the fees. It was usually just a flat fee. Termination notice without cause. So for any reason we deem necessary, that was a 30-day notice. They're bumping that up to 90 days, pretty standard within most corporate leases. And lastly, they, of course, adjusted some things as the relation is with RCPD now taking on the animal control services. Now, nothing in this agreement itself actually binds RCPD. Really, it's just telling, or we're agreeing with Prairie Paws that we're going to at least tell RCPD that they need to be doing certain things. And so I've communicated with Brian Pete over there, and as well as Aaron Friedline, to make sure that that is something that they can do, and they have told me that they can. So with that, any questions on the agreement itself?
So, but his numbers reduced it to 36 this year. Is that what it be? 36? Not that it had gone down to 30. I mean, what?
I believe it was down at 30. Was it 30? 33?
For 2026, I believe is 33,000.
I'll definitely defer to Brittany on that. I want to say that sounds correct. It would have been somewhere around there. Can also look on here. Yeah, 33,000 annually.
So they did take a bit of a bump this year.
Yeah, or for next year. Yeah.
Yeah, for the, yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is for 27. What's it?
Oh, yeah, it would be
This
for,
would be for 26.
let's see. Hmm. So we actually start 2026, we'll start at 36,300.
Yeah, so that take a 10% bump there. Yeah.
So this is a big increase than the 2.5 every year after this next one.
And as far as 2.5% goes, that's pretty in line with usually what CPI is. In fact, it could be lower than what the inflation rate typically is.
Considering where we're at with animal control and animal control services.
Who knows what it'll last?
Yeah, that may change drastically moving forward, but at least
For now.
have we already budgeted this for 26? Okay. Oh, well, it is what it is then for 26.
And it'll be a little, we budgeted 35,000, for 26, so we'll be a little over budget, with this.
Yeah, there's a lot of concern here with this particular service moving forward, but in terms of where we're at right at the moment, we'll go as follows, I guess. I'm gonna make a motion that the board approve the agreement as provided currently.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the agreement for animal shelter services with Prairie Paws Animal Shelter. All in favor?
These fun.
Great. All right, anything else, commissioners, I can assist with? Thank you.
I don't have anything else. Okay. I guess I would make a motion into adjourn the December 22nd meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second, been moved and second to adjourn the December 22nd meeting of the County Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Not a, open package of